Well, our 2015 PDRA TV shop tours brings us back here to Georgia to PLR Racing Engines, Eric Dillard, Doug Patten. Now, a lot of guys don't know this, but Doug is Eric's 50-50 partner in this thing. And kind of tell the story about that, Eric, if you don't mind.
Well, I was actually the last one to the party. So
yeah.
Steve was actually the first one at the time, just a machine shop, local machine shop. Steve got into a car accident, and he was building motors on the side forever, racing with Tim Lynch, and they were successful even back then, from the early years. And he was doing getting all his machine work done at Barnett Performance in Atlanta. I don't know if you've ever heard of Barnett, but they used to race pro stock and stuff. They have like a big parts warehouse here in downtown Atlanta. And Doug ran their machine shop for years, for 13, 14 years. So Steve had a really good relationship with Doug because that's where he was getting all his machine work done. Well, Steve got in the car accident, stopped working at a dealership, and started having to find machine work somewhere else because Barnett decided to stop doing public machine work. They did their private stuff, but they stopped doing it publicly. So Doug had to go back to the counter, and he's not the counter guy that wants to sell parts all day. He'd rather be in the back machining on something, assembling engines. So Steve had to go somewhere else to get machine work done, and he found a shop here, and it's a little south of us where we are now in Woodstock, Georgia. And he started getting work done there, and the guys there liked him. They said, "Hey, could you come in here and help us run this place?" Because they knew Steve had gotten hurt and didn't really have a full-time gig at the time. He was trying to recover from his accident. He did, and he would call down to order parts from Barnett, and him and Doug got to talking, and Steve said, "Hey, man, I know you don't want to be doing that. Why don't you come up here and work for me?" And Doug did that, and then I was working at a dealership close to where Steve was before, and they'd come there and dyno all their cars. And I'd bug Steve to death every time he came. I was a helper in the transmission department. And I would bug Steve and say, "Hey, man, if you ever need anything, let me come sweep the floors, let me clean blocks, whatever you need." And I think after about a year of me bugging him to death every time he came to the dyno, one day he told me to ride to Charlotte with him to go buy some old NASCAR parts. And we made that road trip. I skipped work and got on the way back. He's like, "You know what? Why don't you come up and help me tomorrow?" And I quit what I was doing because I knew this is what I wanted to do. I was the only one in my family that really liked racing or cars, and it was just my passion. And I came up. Doug had started
2 months earlier. And I show up to work one day, and there's Eric standing there. I was like, "Can I help you?" And said, "I'm starting to work today." So it's been pretty cool ever since. He learned quickly and really had a mind for running the business more than anything else. And that's one of the things is everybody does what they do best here. And I think that's why we work well together.
Well, the season's about ready to get fired up, so the biggest share of the real wild hustle that would normally be going on here is kind of simmered down a little bit, but we're kind of in the area of what here? This is the machining department?
Yep, this is our machining department. We set it up this way, you can see, with the overhead rack system to be able to shuffle the engines around all through every piece of equipment without having to pick them up, just to make it a little more efficient. It is a little bit of a tighter space, but we found it to be way more productive this way. And the guys can pretty much take care of all the machining by themselves with no help from lifting or any other guy in the shop. And we've got it set up to where everything's in line from where you start with the boring bar to you go to the surfacer to the hone and so on. So it's a pretty small machine shop in my eyes as far as equipment, but we're really a custom shop. So a lot of the CNC work and all the stuff that we get done outside of here, and we don't really plan on changing that. There's too many guys out there developing great parts and that concentrate just on the blocks and just on the heads, that we want to always be using the best products that are out there. And things are changing so fast in today's industry that we want to buy those CNC products from those manufacturers at the time we feel like it's the best one and then put it together here. And this is really what we need to make that happen.
I'm kind of the same way in the body shop business. Everybody says, "Oh, you need to buy this new frame rack." Well, gee whiz, anymore if you got a bent frame, they total out. You know what I mean? So there's similar nature. So if you do have good suppliers, I think you're doing the right thing. But I have to ask you another question. From a personal standpoint, what is your real education in this thing? I mean, is it all, you're a totally hands-on guy?
Yeah, everything I've done here, I started my first semester of college when I was working at that dealership, and I really just bugged Steve and jumped into that, and I stopped going to school. I really saw an opportunity here, and I decided to stop going to school and work with Steve and push it as hard as I could, and I really enjoyed what I was doing with him and with Doug and everybody else there. And things were happening fast, and we were making progress, and I just never stopped. And I didn't really have any other than high school, and about 2 or 3 months of the first semester, that was it.
Really? Wow. So let's take another, if you don't mind, we'll take a little walk through here just to kind of get an idea This young man right here is in the midst of a disassembly or reassembly here.
He's
Oh, we'll just get right on over here. You say it again now?
Checking main bearing clearance.
Gotcha.
So this looks like another one of our new Hemis. We're working on a new Hemi program for an HRA. We'll be running that this weekend at the Gators. And Bradley's probably pretty much on final mock-up, checking everything. Okay, so he said all he's got left to do is push rod clearance, and this thing will be ready to assemble. So Bradley's he is pretty much our head machinist here at ProLine, and he's also an engine builder. And one really cool thing I want to mention, because it's really awesome what he did last year, but he's been in the Engine Masters deal, and he does it a lot on his own. He had his own engine. He won it in 2009. He won on his own privately, and with a Hemi 6.1 liter, and then last year, kind of last minute, it was a last minute deal, but we're like, he really wanted to go to Engine Masters. He kind of decided at one point, maybe I'll just take the year off. And we're like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Let's put Fuel Tech on it. Let's do coal unplug. Let's go up there with a Fuel Tech and see if we can compete. He threw it together last minute. And how many competitors were there at Engine Masters? 38. And Bradley finished second. And he did it in about a 2-week time frame. So it was really cool for him, really cool for ProLine, Fuel Tech, everybody. It was just a great deal.
That is awesome. How old are you? How old? 35 years old. There's a lot of 30-year-old kids in this place. I mean, I think it's so cool. I really do.
Yes,
because the advancement of things these days, and I said it earlier when I was talking to Matt. We've lost a couple years of motorheads, and I think in this business, period.
Yeah, and it really is cool to see the average age group we have here, and to know that we've got, with the crew that we already have, we've got a long ways to go. So, and I've kind of really structured around that, because I'm still pretty young, and I want to make sure I have guys here that want to do this with me and be with me, because I like long term, I like loyalty, and I got the group of guys now that we can do this for a while.
Clearly have put together. I remember seeing, 10, 11, 12 or so of them in the fall in Las Vegas, and it was really cool to see how everybody was working together on, you had 13, 14 cars with your motor in them.
Yeah, it's we've got a big team that goes to the racetrack, a big team here, and everybody really knows their place, and I don't have to manage these guys. They manage themselves. They know their job. We have really good communication. We try our best, throughout the shop, and there's not really one guy standing over anybody else here. They all just do what they're supposed to, and we don't have to. It's just kind of a known thing around ProLine, and everybody knows what the main goal is, and all these guys get it done. It really makes it really easy on me, because I can concentrate on sales and new stuff, because these guys are taking care of the rest of it for me.
One of the other cool things about ProLine Racing is Eric, is you offer your international clients an opportunity to leave their equipment here, leave their cars, trucks, trailers. All they got to do is fly and pick their stuff up. And also, like some other folks, you got some cars for sale here.
Yeah, we started doing this with Jose back in 2012 when he first started coming on board with us. We saw it to be more convenient, instead of keeping his rig in Miami, to keep it out of Atlanta. It's just it's an easier way for logistics and to travel. So we started keeping it here, and I have a really good relationship with Jose. He's been really good to me over the years, and he's really put a lot into this whole turbo program. And he let me learn from his rig being here and how I manage that deal to learn that, we could do more of these, and this is an opportunity. And at first it was out of the old building, so the rig stayed outside, the car stayed inside, so we couldn't grow into that. It made me buy a little bit bigger building for ProLine. We probably wouldn't have went to this magnitude, but for the rigs we really need it, and it's really become a big part of our business. So now we have the Q80 team, El General team. Sydney Frigo from Brazil is going to run Pro Boost this year at PDRA with a new Jerry Bickle car. Paul Moyet from Australia, he's been leaving his car here, and we've been helping him maintain and get it to the racetrack. So he's ran a lot of races and had a good time. Jim Bell's from Canada, same deal. And we hope to have a few more. We really enjoy this, and we got one crew guy per team. And he stays there full time, works on their equipment, and these guys all work together back here. And it's become, it really helps us having them here, because we get full control. And when we go to the racetrack, the cars really are prepared and ready to go, and the client gets exactly what he's looking for.
And it's I guess if you want to call it diversification, that's not a bad word, really, probably. another opportunity for you and a revenue stream, if you will.
Yeah, over the years we've really been very fortunate enough, and we've always dreamed about it, to limit down our client base to where, we're really focusing on a top-tier group of clients and really putting a lot of effort into their programs. And these guys expect a lot. And to give them what they want, you can't have thousands of customers. You got to narrow it down a lot. And this has given us the opportunity to have these rigs here and to give those guys what they're looking for with a smaller client base, but it helps us with having both sides of it, because it makes it more feasible to keep it that small as far as clients, So it's been really good, and we're really fortunate to have all these customers that we do, because they're the best clients in the world. There's no doubt.
So I'm a little bit too early to say or ask about the potential that there may be even another facility available for this purpose coming down the line soon.
Yeah, man, we're real excited right now. When the first day I ever pulled in this place, and I walked in this building, I knew we would look for buildings for 2 or 3 years, and I'm like, this is ours. We have to have this. This is like this is perfectly set up for ProLine. And I remember leaving that day, and when you pull in our parking lot, there's a building on the left and a building on the right. And I just remember, I'm like, man, I hope one day that we grow enough or do something where we have the opportunity to buy that building. And that opportunity came up about 3 months ago, and we were able to make a deal with the guys next door, and we acquired that building, one for Fuel Tech. That'll be the main Fuel Tech office, and two for we're going to build another 12,000 square feet on the back of it and house all these race teams. So we'll be able to add a few more teams, and we're really excited about that.
You got a lot going on, man. I cannot congratulate you enough. I'm not kidding you. How old are you exactly?
31.
31 years of age. Didn't have to go to college, didn't want to go to college. Started out sweeping floors. I mean, this is not a rags to riches story. There couldn't be one, but I will tell you one thing for sure. If there's one man that I know for a fact that is truly driven by passion and a love for the sport, it's this kid right here. And we are very, very, very glad to not only have you as friends, but as marketing partners with us for PDRA and everything you do for us over there is incredible.
No, and I appreciate it, and I just want to make sure I capitalize on that's one thing about ProLine. It's all about teams. So, I have been able to do a lot here, but a lot of it's just because we have the right people, and we're not afraid to bring in the right people. And with Steve and Doug and all the other guys here, I wish I could sit here and talk about each one of them for an hour, because they're so instrumental in what we've done. And it's a team effort that's got us to this point.
You're watching PDRA TV.